JAMB candidates, welcome to today's class, and today we are looking at the 11 steps of answering calculation questions in physics and chemistry. How to answer calculation questions in physics and chemistry easily, okay, and it makes you faster, it helps you avoid mistakes. All right, ensure to what? To stick with this plan, okay, these 11 steps of answering calculation questions in physics and chemistry. All right, now let's look at the first step. The first step says read question for the first time. So you are reading the question given to you, you are reading it for the first time, okay? As you are reading the question for the first time, what are you looking out for? You are looking out for what they want you to do. That's what you are looking out for, okay? You are looking out for what they want you to do. That's your motive of reading the question the first time, okay? You usually read the question the first time very fast, okay? To find out what you were told to do, okay, in the question. Let's say, for example, let's say the question. All right, so look at the question we have here. For example, we are illustrating number 1, the first step of answering calculation question. The question read, a man, we are reading the question for the first time. We read it very fast. A man with mass 30 grams accelerates with 10 meters per second square. What is the force developed? So we are looking out for what they told us to find, which is what? The force developed, force. Okay, force developed, all right? So we know that that's what they said we should find. Okay, we move over to the second step of answering calculations in physics and chemistry. Second step is identify what you are told to find. Okay, so as we have read the question very fast for the first time, remember you are going to read this question 2 times. Okay, you are going to read it the first time and you are going to read it the second time when you are writing out what you were given, the parameters you were given in the question. Okay, so identify next is to identify what you are asked to find. What are we asked to find in this question? We are asked to find what? Force. So we write given, okay? Given force is equal to what? Question mark, okay? So this is what we are looking for, okay? That's what they told us to find, all right? So we move over to the next, which is number 3. The step number 3 says what? Study the options provided. Study the options provided. These are the options provided. For example, this is for illustration's sake, okay? These are the what? The options what? Provided. So while we are looking at the options provided, what are we looking at for? We are looking at the units that the options are represented in. That is what is going to guide us in providing our answer. Are the options represented in standard form? Are they represented in decimal? Are they represented in figure? So that should give you a clue on what your answer should look like, okay? So you are solving to get an answer that matches the option, okay? An answer that matches the options, all right? The options, especially the unit in the options, will also help you in making your conversions, okay? Like converting the parameters given. If the parameters are going to need conversion, it's also going to help you, okay? So when you see the answers, what are the answers represented in? The options, what are they represented in? What units? How are they represented? That's what's going to determine the kind of conversion that you are going to do. Now, let's move on to the 4th step. The 4th step is write out the formula of what is to be found. Write out the formula of what is to be found, okay? Here now, they told us to find what? They told us to find force, okay? What is the formula of force? Force is equal to F is equal to mass times what? Acceleration, okay? So this is the formula of what we were told to what? To find. We move over to the next, which is number 5, which is write out given parameters. All the parameters given to you, write them out, all right? We go straight to writing out the given parameters. So this takes us to reading the question the second time. This time we are reading it slower to write out all the details in the question. Now we are looking out for details in the question, okay? So we are going to read again slower. A man with mass 30 grams accelerates. Mass 30 grams. So this is our mass, okay? That's mass M is equal to 30 grams. So look at what was included here, okay? You are writing the parameter, you are writing the units given together with the parameter in full. Don't forget to write the units because this is going to help you figure if those parameters are going to need conversion, okay? Because you might need to convert to standard units, okay? So for example, we have written mass, okay, and we indicated it in the units that it was represented in. Gram, mass in gram, look at it, put your gram there. Then we continue. Accelerate with 10 meters per second square, okay? 10 meters per second square. So our acceleration A is equal to 10 meters per second square. Put your unit to. Now we continue with our reading. What is the force developed? We already put our force. That's what we are finding. All right. So that's that. So we are now going to do what? We move to the next step, which is what? The next step is convert parameters to match options or standard units. You are either converting the units in the the parameters to match standard units or to match the units that appear in the option. Okay. For example, mass, which is M, okay, is gram, the standard unit of mass. Gram is not the standard unit of mass. The SI unit of mass is kilogram. That is the most widely acceptable unit of mass. So we have to convert this 30 gram to kilogram. And how do you convert 30 gram to kilogram? To convert 30 grams to kilogram, you are going to divide. Sorry, you divide by 1,000. So it's going to be 30 over 1,000. Okay, you divide. What you get is your what? Is your kilogram. You convert it and you put it here. Okay, maybe 0.003 or so kilogram. Also, all right, so this one is the conversion. Okay, you make your conversion, then you look at the next one. Does this require conversion? Is meter per second square the standard unit of acceleration? Yes, so this one is okay, so we can work with them. Okay, we have converted them. Remember other conversions like converting from centimeter to meter. Okay, converting from centimeter square or cubic centimeter to what? Cubic meter. You can also convert back. Okay, remember another conversion again. This one, to convert from centimeter to meter, just either depending on the bigger one. Since you are converting a smaller one, which is centimeter to meter, you are going to divide by 100. Okay, you divide over 100. What you have over 100 to get meter. If you are converting from meter back to centimeter, you are going to times by what? 100. If you want to convert cubic centimeter to cubic meter, this one, you are going to what? You are going to divide by 1 million. Okay, you are going to divide by 1 million. Okay, then if you want to convert from cubic meter to cubic centimeter, you times by what? 1 million. Okay, you times by what? 1 million. Okay, all these are the conversions that you have to know. Okay, you have to know all these conversions. Okay, then there's another conversion again. Okay, we've already done gram and kilogram. Another one again, kilometer. Kilometer to what? To meter. You times or divide by 1,000. If you are converting from the bigger one to the smaller one, you are going to times. But if you are converting from the smaller one to the bigger one, you are going to divide. Okay, so the final one is time. Okay, which is a minute and second. From minutes to second. Okay, what do you do? By what? 60. You either times or divide by 60 depending on the bigger one or the smaller one, like I explained. Okay, it's still the same thing where you are converting from hour to second. Okay, but just know that the unit of time is second. Okay, that's the standard unit of time, second. It must be in second. Okay, you hardly use minutes to calculate. Okay, it must be in second. So kilometer, the standard unit of length is meter. Okay, so if it's in kilometer, you have to convert to meter. Okay, so depending on what you are calculating, use standard unit or make the unit to match what you have in the options. Okay, that takes us to the next. We still have other conversions that are not common, but I just discussed the common ones. Okay, all these are the what? The common ones. All right, so let's look at the next. The next step says look out for missing parameters in the formula. All right, so now we are looking out for what? Missing parameters in this formula. How do we find missing parameters in this formula? Now this is the formula of what we are told to find. We now have to find the missing parameter, if there's any missing parameter in this formula. For example, we have mass here in the formula. Do we have mass among the parameters given to us? Yes, we have mass here, okay, which is now equal to this now, for example. Acceleration. Do we have acceleration here? Yes, this is acceleration. We have acceleration here, okay. So you can see that we have all the parameters, so we can solve. Let's say, for example, you were given distance equal to 3 meters, you were given time equal to 2 seconds, you were given gravity, acceleration due to gravity equal to 10 meters per second square, you were given mass equal to 2 kilograms, okay, and you are told to find impulse. You write out the formula of impulse, okay. The formula of impulse is equal to force times what? Time, okay, force times time. All right, and you look at your parameters given. You have time here, this one is time, but here now, force. Do you have force here? We can't find force here, okay, we can't find force here, so we will now have to find force. That's it. Look out for missing parameter. Force here now is a missing parameter, so we have to find this force first so that we can apply the formula and solve. All right, so the missing parameter is force. So how do we find force? Force, we write out the formula of force. Okay, force is equal to mass times what? Acceleration. Now we look at here again. Do we have mass here? Yes, this is mass. Do we have acceleration here? Yes, we have acceleration due to gravity. So we are now going to do what? F is equal to what? 10 times 2 equal to 20 Newton. So 20 Newton is our force. We'll now put it here, 20 Newton force. Okay, then we'll now apply it here in the formula and solve. Now, let's move over to the next step of answering calculation questions in physics and chemistry. The next step is step 8. Find any missing parameters first. We have found that. Step 9. Do SOF. That's subject of formula when necessary. So, you do subject of formula when what? When necessary. For example, they gave us acceleration equal to 2 meters per second square. They gave us another thing again. They now gave us a force equal to what? 1 Newton. They now ask us that we should find mass. What is the mass? Mass. What is the mass? So does mass have any formula? No. So since we have mass in the formula of force, we are going to do what? We are going to to write it out, force equal to mass times acceleration. We are going to make, since we are looking for mass, we are going to make mass the subject of the formula. So to make mass the subject of the formula, if mass crosses this equal to sign and comes here, we will now have mass is equal to this force. If this force crosses this equal to sign and comes here, it's going to be on top whatever you have here. So it's now going to be force over acceleration. So if we substitute, we are going to be left with, we come here and substitute, we are going to be left with, our force is what? 1 Newton over our acceleration over 2. Okay, equal to what? 0.5. All right, 0.5. That's what is going to be our what? Our mass. Therefore, our mass is equal to what? 0.5. Okay, for example, that's half. Okay, half kilogram. All right, so that's all about subject of formula. Okay, let me now say, for example, you are now told to find acceleration. Okay, if you move acceleration to this side, making acceleration the subject of the formula, what happens here? Okay, here you still have the same thing. You still have force over mass. Okay, you are now going to have force over mass. All right, so it's the same thing. If you have m now is equal to F over A, and you want to make F the subject of the formula, if you make F the subject of the formula, you return to this one. You will now be F now is equal to M times A. Okay, if you make A the subject of the formula, you are now going to be left with M is still the same M times F. All right, you are still having the same M times F. That takes us to the next step of answering calculation questions in physics and chemistry. All right, it says number 10, substitute the parameters into the formula. Okay, as you made your conversion, you are now ready to solve. You substitute your parameters into the formula. We were told to find force, for example. You substitute. Since we have, for example, since we have 0.0003 now as our new mass, we are now going to put it F now is equal to 0.003. Then times, what do we have? The next is acceleration. Acceleration 10. Okay, 10. Okay, F now will now solve equal to what? Whatever you get there, 0.3 or so. Then after that, what do you do next? You solve and pick the correct or closest answer. You are picking what? The correct or closest answer or option through simplification. So after substituting, we do what? We simplify next. Simplify. You apply mathematical rule. Always be cautious where you need to apply BODMAS. Okay, the BODMAS, where you need to apply BODMAS. Okay, that's bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So this one is bracket. You solve the bracket first. This one, multiplication, times. Okay, this one is division. You do the division next. This one is first, second, third. That's how you follow it. Division. Okay, then this one is multiplication again. This one is addition. This one is subtraction. Okay, so that's it for BODMAS. All right, so if you do bracket finish, maybe you don't see multiplication or times, and the next can be division. You follow the next for the BODMAS. You continue solving just like that. Okay, so in some situation when you solve and you don't see your answer, apply BODMAS, provided you know that you are applying the right formula. Thank you so much for taking this lecture, and I hope this helps you in your JAMB UTME 2026. Drop a nice comment for me in the comment section. Bye bye.